So for the cross-border payment challenge, we've created an open internet model. We call the idea Interledger. So Interledger, like the internet, supports our Ripple technology globally. And that model does not require a single universal common blockchain. It requires a very open blockchain interconnectivity. And that means that the volume is theoretically infinite. It's like the internet never runs out of capacity. Elements do, but the internet still works because it's inherently decentralized. So Ripple is the same. So we have a decentralized model which is infinitely scalable. Supporting that, we have our liquidity proposition, which uses XRP, and that's a classic blockchain. But XRP was designed from the outset for transacting. So unlike the likes of Bitcoin, which is like very slow and slows down as you continue to build on volume, the XRP model is very, very, very high speed and very high capacity. So the liquidity part is very adequately served by the XRP model. The wider network we're creating, where if you're really going to create something of value for the 7 billion people in the world, or 9 billion by 2050, you've got to have a very open internet type model. And that's what we have with our X-Current RippleNet model.
Engaging with partners throughout our experimentation processes and innovation, it's one of those values that we want to bring to our partner community. And it's included in the frameworks of these partnership programs. One example is, for instance, how we're trying to pilot integrations with companies that offer services built upon underlying DLT-based technologies, and starting, as you mentioned before, in the trade finance and supply chain space, but every day more and more open to evaluate experiments with other companies in other verticals.
Right, that I feel very confident that we'll see a decision from the courts in this year. In fact, I think I would guess it'll be in weeks, not months. There's some decisions that happened last week that you may have read about, that the judge ruled against the SEC's effort to redact certain information about a very kind of infamous speech that the then director of corporate finance, a guy named Bill Hinman, gave, talking about why ETH, in his view, was not a security. And the court just ruled last week that the notes and emails associated with that are going to be made public and should be public around June 13th. So I think that's a huge win for transparency. But what really calls out is there hasn't been clarity. And despite calls and demands from leaders across the crypto industry, we haven't seen that yet. But as I said, Ripple decided to lean in and fight this fight, both for Ripple, but for the whole industry. We've spent a lot of money defending it. And I think what we've called out is really that the government in the United States and the SEC particularly is putting politics ahead of smart policy. And because of that, you're seeing entrepreneurs go overseas, you're seeing companies like Ripple. Most of our hiring is non-US now. Most of our customers, as I mentioned, are non-US. And so most of our hiring is non-US now. Most of our customers, as I mentioned, are non-US. And so most of our hiring is non-US now. Most of our customers, as I mentioned, are non-US. And so I think it's
But it does feel like we're in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime shift. The architecture of finance, and by that I mean global currencies all the way down to payments, lending and deposits. It's unbundling bit by bit, and it's rebundling around a new, largely digital architecture. And this happened in trading over the last few decades, and it was an evolution. But what we're seeing now is more of a revolution, with new architectures supplanting old ones. And the way our industry has operated for decades, it's going to be replaced with new ways. And the scale and the speed required to serve our clients, it's of a completely different magnitude. So here at Citi, where we move over $4 trillion globally each day, where we enable clients to issue payments in 144 different currencies, where we do business in more than 160 different countries and are on the ground in nearly 100 of them, well, we have a deep appreciation for scale and agility. And we're seeing how the world is becoming more global and more local at the same time, and how it's becoming faster and how it's becoming more complex. We're reshaping our firm and our exceptional assets so that we maintain our relevancy and we continue to deliver for clients. SWIFT, as the community that underpins global flows, must make the same journey. Not just talk about it, but actually accelerate action. Because if traditional payments remain slow and comparatively clunky, as they are today, then it's a huge incentive for others to develop alternative, large-scale global payment systems that could be cheaper and much faster. Already, the convergence between new technology and shadow banking risks derailing years of our progress. There's always been unregulated financial activity, but the new technology has the potential to scale that globally to the detriment of the regulated sector and the clients and the consumers we serve. We simply can't afford the regulated sector to be perceived as technologically deficient to the unregulated sector, and that's why we must relentlessly modernise our regulated financial system through public-private partnerships and through communities that bring our industry together.
The bank, they have to take the customers with them all the way through the chain.
That's right, absolutely. So we wanted to put that research out there about the benefits and opportunities of instant payments, and also we are doing a lot of education about FedNow and the use cases that we envision developing first. Frankly, we're probably going to be surprised. There's going to be a lot of innovation that's going to happen on top of FedNow that we're not even thinking about it. I mean, we designed the service with that in mind. It's a cloud-based service, high resilience. I think we're actually the first central bank that has developed a payment system fully in the cloud. So that's really exciting there. And so we certainly leaned in to support that kind of innovation in the marketplace for the future.
Which begs the question then, what is it going to mean for the US payments landscape? Because you're absolutely correct, it is quite innovative for a central bank to involve itself in this way. But is that involvement likely to encourage even greater innovation on the landscape scene generally for payments?
That's what we see. We think that FedNow as a service is going to dramatically change the payment landscape in the U.S. The availability of instant payments to over 10,000 institutions, that is absolutely a game changer, and one of the reasons why we decided to build a new service for the first time in 4 years there. So the innovation for the future, the flexibility that service is going to offer, we're really excited about the opportunities going forward.
Exactly, and I think as for SWIFT, the focus is interoperability with all these new schemes that are coming up. For us, the focus is on implementing technology that can support those innovations. So like you were mentioning, global, scalable, resilience, those are the things that we're focusing on. Just to give you an example, we have participated in a pilot on a blockchain-based implementation, and we helped the team, the working group, which is actually an industry working group with SWIFT and banks around the table, to scale to 1 million transactions per second in our platform. Now, what we are doing is ensuring that the platform grows as the innovation from SWIFT and from the industry is demanding, and that's what we're focused on. Another area that we are innovating a lot is, and related a lot to what Tom is doing in terms of artificial intelligence and the use of machine learning for all different areas of financial services. We are innovating in confidential computing. We know that data sharing across institutions is very important, but we know that it needs to remain confidential for each one of those institutions. So that's an area that we at AWS all the cloud providers obviously are innovating, and that's what we are focused on, in working with the business teams from SWIFT and the banks to ensure that we can support them with the technology, that innovation that needs to happen. So we're innovating very fast on that area, but I think the demands are actually going faster sometimes than the innovations.